Welcome to my intermediate Pilates-based core workout on a foam roller. So we're using a foam roller not to stretch out, work out muscles, but to stabilize or challenge our stabilization with our core. Optional is a weight for the second half of the workout. I have a 6-pound weight. You could use anywhere from like 1 to 10. That would get really heavy, but it is optional. The foam roller is technically optional too. You could absolutely do this whole workout without the foam roller, but you will get a lot more challenge to your core with the foam roller. So go ahead and lie down with your butt at one end and your head at the other end. Hands down to your side. Okay. As with most Pilates workouts, we really need to always start with some breath work. So you're going to inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. I'm actually going to put my hands on my ribs now. I'm going to inhale. Feel the expansion in my rib cage as I move outwards and backwards into the foam roller. Inhale. As I exhale, I'm going to draw my lower abs in. Now, we can either do an imprint or posterior pelvic tilt on the foam roller, and that's for if your abs are a little weaker. Or we can keep spinal neutral. So you have a little space in your low back. We're maintaining that pelvic neutral and spinal neutral position. So because our normal spine has a little curvature in our low back, but we really need strong abs to be able to maintain that with the different exercises we're going to do. So I want you to rock back and forth. So do some pelvic rocks, anterior pelvic tilt, posterior pelvic tilt, without doing too much motion or engagement through your glutes, okay? So it's like you're flattening your back into the foam roller as a pelvic tilt or imprint in the Pilates world. And then you kind of arch your back is an anterior pelvic tilt. So if you flatten your back against the foam roller, draw your abs in, that is the posterior pelvic tilt and imprint if you're a little weaker. You can do a lot of this in that position. Just make sure you're not holding your breath. You can think about this too as rib cage comes towards hip bones. The space here is shortening. Okay, so try to make sure we're not flaring out your ribs. Now you can also rock back and forth till you find that kind of in-between position of a posterior pelvic tilt where we flatten the back, or anterior pelvic tilt where there's a lot of space and we arch back and just get to that pelvic neutral. Make sure your abs are really tight. You can do this one if you're nice and strong, okay? This is ideal, optional, or eventually for everyone to stay in that spinal neutral. I'm gonna go into a little bit more of a pelvic tilt. Okay, so now we're going to continue to challenge that stability by marching. So when my leg lifts off, what's going to happen is my body's going to want to get into that archy position if my core is not engaged properly. Okay, the foam roller adds extra layer of instability here. So my hands are stabilizing on the ground and I am marching, alternating. Every time my leg lifts off, I'm thinking about pulling my lower abdominals tighter into my spine so I don't fall off the foam roller. Good. Okay, so you should start to feel those muscles working. Go ahead and relax. We're gonna continue to challenge ourselves. Take one hand away and you're going to alternate and march those legs again. So I have my core on, I get my pelvic tilt first or my spinal neutral, where I have a little space in my low back. I take one hand away. So now even more core stability is required to keep me from falling off this rolly foam roller. I'm breathing, my rib cage is pulling towards my hip bones just a little bit, even if you're in pelvic neutral. We don't want any rib flaring. Take this hand down, switch hands. Okay, so lift that other arm off the ground If this is too much, just keep both hands on the ground. Make sure we're relaxing through the shoulders, through the jaw, through the forehead. We're not carrying tension up there. You can have a little chin nod, very gentle, long neck, so that way our deep cervical flexors are also turned on. But we're not, tensing up through the neck. There's always a weaker side, you will notice. You're gonna be more unstable on one side usually. 2 and 1. Great. Go ahead and put both hands down, shake that out. Okay, so now we're gonna go back into, we call this a tabletop position in Pilates. So the knee is bent 90-90, knee and hip bent 90-90. We're gonna extend the knee and bend it back to tabletop. Extend it. Okay, if you're really strong, you can go a little lower. If your back is trying to arch a lot and your core is a little weaker, you can straighten that knee a little higher up so there's less of an angle. Otherwise, just go to that diagonal. Always focusing in here, the transverse abdominis is on. Good, go ahead and switch legs. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and take one hand away. It's actually gonna have to be the opposite arm as the leg. So we're gonna do both sides, but do that same thing. Take the opposite arm away, as leg away from the ground, so there's less surface area, stabilizing and supporting you. 4, 3, 2, 1. Switch arms, switch legs. So lift, opposite arm as leg. That's going to bend and straighten, bend and straighten. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay. Now we're going to keep the hands on the ground as we float both legs up into tabletop. So one leg into tabletop and then float the other leg. Okay. And you are going to alternate what we call a toe tap or a heel tap. Now, I am not going, this one is, we just went from a little easier one to a more of a challenging one. This is definitely more in the advanced category. So I'm moving at the hips. My knee stays at 90-degree angle here. Everyone wants to straighten their knee when they do this. I am only going halfway because if I go any further, my back is going to completely lift off from the foam roller. This one is a fun challenge. Keep breathing. Flattening that belly as much as you can. Couple more. 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. Okay. So we were focusing a lot on those lower abs. We're gonna get our rectus abdominis and obliques, so those upper abs that we work with crunches and whatnot, and then the side abs, the obliques, working again. So we're gonna put one leg into the tabletop, the opposite arm is gonna lift off, and we're going to do just a crossover crunch. Every time I do this, I'm thinking about drawing my belly button deeper in my spine. I'm not doming. 4, 3, 2. We're gonna pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're gonna switch sides. I'm not bringing my head all the way down, but you are welcome to support your neck if you need to, or bring it all the way down to the foam roller for like a mini break for the neck. 5, 4, those side abs, 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Now we are going to use our weight. So grab your weight. Again, make sure you have that pelvic tilt or spinal neutral position. Okay, let's just bring the arm behind us. Bring it back up to the ceiling. Bring it over to the ceiling. So we're getting a little bit of our lats, but a ton of core stability too, because if you don't engage here, right, what's gonna happen? A lot of that archy and losing stability. 3, 2, we're gonna add on. So you extend the leg and then you meet arm and opposite arm as leg, extend arm as leg. If it's too hard, the leg doesn't have to go as far down in the diagonal, neither does the arm. If you are stronger, you can go a little lower. Okay. In through the nose, out through the mouth. 4, 3, 2. Let's hold it out there. We're just gonna pulse up and down. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and switch sides. So just the arm. 7. Get that pelvic tilt or neutral position. 6. Actually 4 and more. 3, 2. We're gonna add the leg now. So opposite arm and leg, they meet. And then they extend away from each other. They meet. As they extend away, make sure you're breathing and really pulling everything tight, because that's when they're really working your core. This hip, this bent knee is also working. That is your stabilizing hip is also working, okay, to keep you on the foam roller as well. 4, 3, 2, let's hold it out there. Let's pulse up and down for 10, 9, 8, 7. You can do it. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Good. Take a break. Switch arms. So put the weight in the other arm again. We're going to lift it, extend the elbow up to the ceiling again. We're going to bring the weight out to the side and straight up. Obviously, the heavier the weight, the harder this exercise is. So what I'm doing is my obliques are now turned on a bit more, because as I bring my arm out to the side, they're fighting, resisting me rolling all around at my trunk, right? And going with the weight. Okay, so you have to really, don't go as far if you notice that it's pulling you, and because your abs are a little weaker. You can shorten the range of motion as needed. 5, 4, 3, 2. Obviously, we're also gonna get a little pec work, which is a nice benefit. Put the arm down for a second. Keep it in that same hand, okay? We're coming back to it. Lift the opposite leg. Knees bent, that tabletop. You're gonna do a bent knee fall out. So what I'm doing is my knee staying bent to 90 degrees, and I'm just opening up that hip as far as I can before this hip starts to do something wonky, or I start to kind of, lose control, basically. So it might be just a really little motion. You're gonna feel that opposite oblique again working. This one, looks like nothing, feels like a lot. 4, 3, 2. Again, try resist the urge of opening up that stabilizing knee. And 1. Okay, as you might have guessed, we're gonna put them together. Get that arm back up there, get that leg back up there. And they're gonna go out to their sides and come back together. Out to the side. Again, go as far as you can before you start to lose control. It does not have to be a big range of motion. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Let's pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, we have to switch. So switch arms. Let's go out to the side first. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Put that arm down. Opposite leg comes up to that tabletop. Bent knee, fall out. This is the name we use in physical therapy world. It makes sense. 6, 5, 4. You can see like my arm muscles working. I'm pushing to the ground, trying to help with this stability. I'm lacking a little bit in my core. Good, last one. Let's do arm and leg together. So they go away from each other, they come back to the center. They fall away from each other, they come back to the center. My back is staying flat against the foam roller, my core is tight no matter what, or I have a little space in my low back if I'm in a neutral spine. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and let's pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So go ahead, let's switch sides one more time, and let's get those upper abs working again, and then those obliques working a little bit. So I am going to rest my head on the foam roller, and then I'm going to reach the weight up to towards my opposite knee. I'm keeping my feet planted for 5 of them, and then we'll lift our leg up. 2, 1. Now lift the knee up into that tabletop. 4, 3, 2. Let's pulse for 10. Little pulses. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's switch sides. Keep the feet planted for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Knee up. 5, 4. So we're taking some stability away when we lift that foot up. In the name of the game, this whole workout. 3, 2. Let's pause for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead, take that weight. Just bring the arm back over again. So we did this one with one arm. We're gonna add a little challenge again. Taking one leg away and no arms. So there is only one extremity supporting us versus and our spine and our core, right? Our spine on the foam roller and then our core. So now let's go ahead and crunch up, lower down, reach the weight overhead. Crunch up, lower the head down, reach the weight overhead. Good. And last one, let's switch sides. So lift that other leg up. Just reach the weight overhead first for a few. This is my harder side. Told you, you all have a harder side. Maybe some people don't. I haven't witnessed it yet. Okay, awesome job.